Today I'm going to be explaining how to submit a custom wearable. So we're over here on the news page, and the first thing we need to do is go over to the Cash Shop tab and find Custom Wearables. We'll click on that, and it will take us to the feed. This shows some shops and what their creators have put into them so you can buy. Now we'll go over to this Create button right here and push that. And it will take us to a page that tells us a little bit about the requirements. We have bases, then some guidelines about the items, image standards, and some info about tribute items. All of this stuff is really important, but since that's not the objective of this video, we'll move on. Finally, we come to the actual form. It's not really that long, and it's not too complicated. So we'll just jump right in. The first field we have is the item name. The item name is what you would put into the search bar to find something. So for this item, it would be liquor spiked cocoa. For the item that we're submitting today, which is this, it's candlelit wreath. So that's what we put into this box, if I can type. Now we have a description. The description also pops up on the hover, and it's just a little something that you want to add to your item. So for this one, we're using this line. It's a line from a book I like. Now, notice this character limit, you can only put 500 characters in your description. So that's basically so you don't stretch everything into oblivion and beyond, because that's, bad. Alright, now we have our artist Subeta username. Notice that it says, if applicable. You can have an artist that does not play Subeta draw you a custom wearable. However, if you do, then you need to come down here in our last little notes section and basically put somewhere we can find them. So like if they have a DeviantArt, then put their username there. Since my artist is a Subeta user, this makes it really simple, so we're just going to put her username in this box. Now we have the wardrobe layer. This is where you would find your item in the wardrobe if you looked it up. So like a bracelet would probably go under arms, or a shirt would be on the chest layer. Since what I'm submitting today is basically a head ornament, we're going to put it on head. Now we have the type of item. Notice the different types of items have different costs. So if I was submitting a simple little bracelet, I could submit it as simple jewelry, and it'd be $2,000. If I was submitting a wig, however, it would have to go all the way down here in the $5,000 category. What I'm submitting would qualify as a large hair accessory, so we're going to put it here in the $4,000 category. Now we have our item image. That is this little image right here. It's not the actually wearable part, that's the overlay. So we are going to go into my files, we're going to hit choose file, and we're looking for this little candle right here. Notice that it's a GIF. Item images need to be GIFs. Now, we have two options for the overlay. It can be unisex, or we can have different ones for female and male. Since most items look the same on either base, most items will need unisex overlays. However, if you have something that affects the chest area, a lot of the time they will be different. Since mine is a head ornament, it'll be unisex, so we'll hit choose file, and go down and find the transparent file that is just the overlay. It should be a PNG. Since we've already selected a unisex overlay, we don't need a male or female overlay, so we'll move on. Now we have two options with batches. Batches are a set of 10 items. So if you make something 3 batches, you can have a total of 30 copies on site. A lot of people make 1 or 2 batch items at this time because it's easier to fill them. So we have two options here. We can submit it directly to the Cash Shop, which is this box, or we can submit it with batches, which is this area. So if we're submitting it directly to the Cash Shop, then we check this box right here, and it grays out the batch area, so we don't even have to worry about that, and we would pay a flat fee. Now, what happens if you select this is if you go and you hit select with this and you submit it like this, then you will pay this flat fee, and when it's approved, you will automatically get 1 copy in your inventory, and it will be put in your CW shop. So then you can go into that, and you can set the copies there. You can get an artist copy from there, and you don't even have to mess with slots. It's automatically unlimited this way though. Now if you don't want to select direct cash shop, then uncheck this, and we look at this section. This talks more about batches. If you still want unlimited, but you want to submit it with slots first, you just go with this top little circle. If you do want a batch number, then you go with this bottom circle. You can use this if you want a really high number of batches, because it goes all the way up, or you can type in your number. For this, it will be 2. So, now that we've selected our batch number, we get down to the notes box. In this box, you need to put if the artist of the item is not a Subeta user, which my artist is, so we're good. If the item is an original design or if used a reference. I do have a reference image, so since S-code is accepted, we're going to put this is the reference image, and we'll pull our URL there. I can't type today. There we go. And this item is not a tribute, but if it is, you need to link your original image and list 4 changes that you made to the item so that we don't get in trouble with copyright law, because that's no fun for anybody. Now, we have these boxes down here. The first one, I certify that I have permission to use and distribute these images, basically means that either you drew this or you commissioned or bought it, and you're not going to get in trouble for it. So, yeah. Then we have this clause that means that you can't exchange Subeta items for offsite stuff because that's bad. So we'll check that. And finally, we have our release limits. We can't lie about batch numbers or recolors. So if you say there's going to be 5 recolors and then you do 6, that's bad. You can't do that. Or if you say there's going to be 2 batches and then you release 3, that's also treated as scamming. So we'll check that because we understand that. And we'll just double check that everything is filled out. And I think we're good. And we hit let's get started. Then it will take you to a page where it will show you your overlay on 4 different bases of different genders, skin tones, and with and without backgrounds, so you can check for stray pixels, which I don't see any, which is awesome. She's usually really good about that. Then we get to double check our item image, name, description, batch number, and categories. And if it all looks right, then we scroll down. If you're submitting your item directly to the cash shop, it will simply have a button here for you to pay the flat fee, and then within an hour it will put it into the approval queue, and whenever someone gets a chance to go through and approve items, then it will be approved or denied, and you'll get an event telling you either way. It'll pop up in your sidebar, and yeah. If it's approved, you'll get your copy in your inventory and it will be put in your shop. If it's denied, it will list the reasons why, and it will also give an event to your artist if they're a Subeta user. Now, if we're submitting it non-directly, like this, you'll have a list like this where it will automatically put your username into all of the slots, and it will put the total slot cost into the first one. Obviously, this isn't how most people want to submit their items, so we'll go and delete these. So we'll just clear it and start over. Since I am the releaser, I will have 1 slot, and since she is the artist, she will also have a slot. Artists usually have free slots because it's part of their payment. They will tell you if they don't want a slot on the item though. And since I am the releaser, my slot is also free because the batch filled, so I don't have to cover anything. Now we go on to your thread or wherever you've been keeping slots, like this is mine, and we have our slot list. This is how I keep mine. So we'll then take these usernames and put them in these blanks. Then we determine what slot cost should be. The absolute minimum that each slot on this item could be would be 500. That way it would cover the submission cost, and I won't have to pay to get the item on site because I've already paid to have it drawn. So that would be 8 times 5 equals 40. So if you scale that up, 8 times 500 equals 4,000. Since I am trying to make back a little bit of the commission cost on this, I've made it just a little bit higher, and each slot will be $5.50. So you fill that cost in on each of these blanks, and that way it should all look great. Now we have to double check everything before we can submit it. And if all of your categories look right, and your overlay, and nothing's typoed anywhere, then you can hit this button to submit your item. If something has gone awry, then you can click on this one to cancel it. Now, I think everything looks right on mine. So we will go ahead and submit it. And we're going to hit this button. Now, notice this little one that's popped up? I should have gotten an event that tells me that I have a slot on this. Now, all of these other people will also have gotten events. Because my slot is unpaid, it doesn't matter. Free slots will always pop up as editable like this until your item is in the queue. When someone has paid for their item, however, their name will turn green and you can no longer edit any of this, so like you won't be able to select these blanks. At any point before your item gets put into the approval queue, you can click on this red button and totally cancel it. It won't pop up anywhere and everyone's slots won't show up anymore. Now, all you have to do at this point is wait on everyone to pay their slots. And with most people, it doesn't take too long. They pay them as soon as they notice the event. So, it should be in the queue soon. I hope you guys have figured out a little bit more about how to submit custom wearables. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.